Hello and welcome to today's Employer Highlight event showcasing LAZ parking. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elizabeth Bernhard. I'm the Partnership Engagement Manager with Youth Solutions, the statewide nonprofit working with the Jobs for Michigan's Graduates program. To our young people joining, we are so excited you are here. Throughout this event, you will be hearing from David Davis and Frankie Bowser with LAZ Parking about the many available careers within their company. I do want to point out that this event is being recorded and specialists are broadcasting this event to their classrooms, both virtually and in person. Throughout, I encourage you to ask questions. Please use the chat feature during the presentation, and at the end, there will be time for you to go off mute and ask the questions yourselves. In the last few minutes of the event as well, we will be doing a prize drawing for youth for a $25 Amazon gift card and a $25 Walmart gift card. If you are a young person and you would like to be entered into this drawing, please enter your first and last name into the chat box so we can enter you into the drawing. Specialists and teachers, if you have youth who would like to participate but they can't log in by themselves, please put their names into the chat box for consideration. All right, with that, let's get started. It is my pleasure to introduce you to David Davis, Administration Office Manager, and Frankie Bowser, Human Resources Business Partner.
Alrighty, hello everyone. Like Elizabeth just stated, my name is David Davis. I'm sharing my screen right now so we can get to the PowerPoint. Make sure my sound is being shared. Alrighty, so everyone should be able to see my screen right now. But yes, like Elizabeth stated, my name is David Davis. I am the Administration Office Manager at ParkingU, which is the parking operator through LAZ Parking on Eastern Michigan University's campus in, Ypsilanti, Michigan. And I'll let Frankie introduce herself.
Hi all, my name is Frankie Bowser. I am the Human Resources Business Partner for us at LAZ Parking. I oversee Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. I take care of all of our people, and we're super excited to be here today and showcase what LAZ Parking is all about, and hopefully one day you can get involved with us.
Great. So to kick off the presentation today, we have a brief video just to show you where LAZ Parking began and give you just like a brief overview of the history. Like I said, where we started, where the company started, and where it is today. So give this a few moments to load. Alrighty, so like I said, very brief. Oops. Oh, so.
Cool. Thanks, David. So just to kind of reiterate what you just briefly saw on that video, these three gentlemen right here, these are our founders. They started valeting cars in college. Just as a side gig, they noticed that there was a need for someone to park cars because there's a lack of parking spaces. So they took it upon themselves and they said, hey, like let me park cars for these people. Let me clean these parking lots for these people. Let me do this. And so they did. They obviously went from there, started from the ground up and built what LAZ Parking is today. What I think is really unique is not a lot of people think that parking is even an industry to work in. I certainly didn't when I came out of school. So I'm excited to kind of share that this is an industry to get involved in. So taking a quick look at some quick fast facts about LAZ Parking. We are a nationwide organization. We are the second largest parking organization in the nation. We are, as you can see on the map here, from coast to coast. We oversee operations in 35 different states, 408 cities. And what is so special about us is how we continuously grow and adapt with the world that is ever changing, as I'm sure we can all attest to within this past year. So those opportunities keep flowing our way, and we are excited to build and grow with them. So just to kind of focus in, I know I said we are a nationwide organization, just to focus in a little bit about our Midwest region is the region that David and I are a part of. So you can see the states in our Midwest region. And like I said earlier when I introduced myself, our mini region within the Midwest region, it consists of Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan. But if you're not looking to stay in Michigan per se, like I said, opportunities are everywhere.
Alrighty, so as a company, LAZ Parking has hands in several industries. So basically anywhere where people would possibly need to park cars, LAZ Parking likely has sort of a location in that industry or that sector. So that's anything from hospitality, so think, hotels and stuff like that, to medical centers, so hospitals, urgent cares, commercial areas, shops, so like shopping malls and stuff like that, as well as residential areas. We have a presence at specific hotels like the Hyatt Regency in Baltimore, Maryland, and cover parking for concerts as well as sporting events ranging from football to basketball to hockey. In Michigan alone, LAZ Parking has several locations, including Parking MU in Ypsilanti, which is where I am located, the Fisher properties in Detroit, the Detroit Historical Museum, as well as Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Thanks, David. And just to touch on what David just spoke on, so we're doing parking, but we also are trying to get our hands in a little bit of different things and really create other opportunities for our employees. So as we're managing through this COVID world, creating vaccine sites that we're working with. So those opportunities are even going beyond parking, which is really, really cool to be a part of. So touching upon some of the HR favorites here is the LAZ way. And the LAZ way includes our mission, our values, and our practices. So I just want to focus, for time's sake, I just want to focus on our mission and our values within LAZ Parking as an organization. So our mission is simply to create opportunities for our employees and value for our clients. So that opportunities for our employees is my favorite part, and we'll talk a little bit deeper on what that looks like for specific employees here. But really, following our founders kind of where they started is making sure that we have employees that start as a valet attendant, work their way up to a valet supervisor, work their way to a valet manager and beyond there. We want those opportunities to be created for our current employees. So that's first and foremost. And we're running a business at the end of the day. So making sure the clients that are hiring us to manage their parking needs, that they're satisfied and they're making money and we're adding value to their business as well. And just to touch on our values quickly, our values inform every aspect of our operations and the services that we provide. So we always want to come to work and have respectful interactions with one another, whether it be a guest, a client, a coworker. We're committed to our people, making sure that they continue to learn and grow within the organization. We always want to be honest, have integrity, and trust one another. So those values are something that we keep in mind and show on a daily basis.
Right. So speaking of the mission, which like Frankie said, is to create opportunities for our employees as well as value for the clients, there are various entry-level positions available to individuals who are, right out of school and looking to sort of get into a growing industry like parking. So these opportunities include valet and cashier positions in different locations, cleaning, maintenance, and ambassador positions, shuttle drivers, as well as, like I said, flaggers and cashiers, as well as new roles that were sort of developed in response to COVID. So this could be anything from temperature taking at different locations to guiding traffic at sort of parking and traffic at different vaccination locations. And one thing to emphasize is that, if you are someone who really enjoys working with people, LAZ is big on that. So a lot of these positions are very front facing and you're working directly with customers and clients as they're sort of coming in and out of the parking lots. So LAZ is not only dedicated to providing entry-level opportunities, but providing opportunities for growth within the company. So these opportunities can appear in a variety of different spaces. So it could be sort of growing within your specific location, growing within the state, region, or even going across the country. Like Frankie mentioned earlier, we are coast to coast. So you could be in a variety of different states at any given moment, depending on the position. In Michigan alone, there are a handful of positions available, anywhere from customer service to management to project manager positions, depending on the location. While all of the positions that are available in LAZ in general are not available in every state or every location, so many of the skills that you'll learn in these different roles are applicable to the different positions that are available. So a lot of transferable skills that you can carry from position to position, location to location, even sort of like industry to industry. So like from hospitality to commercial to residential, et cetera. And so some of these positions are financing and accounting, human resources, IT, as well as marketing and business development. So to help you visualize some of the positions that are available in Michigan alone, we've included some organizational charts for Park EMU, which, like I said, is the location that I'm at, as well as for the Detroit area in general. And these are just to give you, like I said, to help you visualize what is available. So these are not 1, 2, even 3-person teams. These are usually very, complex operations where everyone is sort of needed to carry a very specific, load to sort of help the operation move forward in an efficient way. So, like I said, as you can see here, there are a number of positions available at parking, not available, but sort of positions that are a part of the parking operation. And then you can see the Detroit area, which is more than one location. So at Park EMU, it's only Eastern Michigan University. In Detroit, it's a handful of locations. So to further highlight these opportunities, we've also included some success stories of people from within the LAZ family. So to start, we have Ashley Shackleford, who is my director at Park EMU. She started as a frontline employee for EMU. Once LAZ came to EMU's campus in 2018, she was hired as an hourly employee, doing a number of different tasks. Within 3 months, she was promoted to the administration office manager role, which is the role I'm currently in. And then shortly after that, she was promoted again to her current role as the director of administration. We then have Stephanie Bell, who is also here at Park EMU. She picked up a part-time job at LAZ as a bookkeeper while taking a break from a position at another parking company. When Ashley was promoted to her current position, Stephanie then became the new office manager, and she is now currently the director of operations at Park EMU. So she is a director. Her and Ashley are on the same level, just in 2 different sort of aspects of the Park EMU operation. And then there is me. So I was hired in the summer of 2019 as an operations supervisor for Park EMU. Later that year in the fall, I was promoted to the administration office manager role. Once it gets a little complicated, so stick with me. Once the previous director of operations moved on to another location in Detroit, so there's a success story right there. Stephanie then slotted into that role, and then I slotted into Stephanie's old role. So it was a lot of transition where everyone was able to advance within the company in their own way. And yeah, and then I'll let Frankie speak for herself.
Yeah, thanks. So really awesome success stories of really showing how people can start with an organization somewhere and continue to build and grow within the organization. And thankfully, David and I was part of those success stories. I think it's interesting to see someone's mission statement and to say, oh, do you guys really create opportunities for your people? And yes, we do. So my success story, I started off at LAZ Parking as a recruiter, ensuring that our teams were well staffed, talking to folks, and making sure that our teams are full and with really quality candidates. I then transitioned into an HR generalist role downtown in Columbus, and then specifically at the Ohio State University, and then was promoted from there into an HR business partner role. So That's a little bit about my story, and I'm hoping to continue for those opportunities to come my way.
So in conjunction with LAZ's emphasis on career advancement, so people moving from, position to position, promoting from within the company, LAZ also recognizes the importance of consistent training and education. So once someone has been hired or once they've slotted into a position, it's not just this hands-off approach where it's like, all right, figure it out from here. We're not going to help you. There are plenty of resources available that LAZ employees have access to help them learn as they, progress in their respective positions. So this takes the form primarily of LAZ University, which is an online platform with, modules and training situations that LAZ employees, like I said, can log on and learn anything from, diffusing hostile customer interaction to how to handle a certain vehicle, how to perform this audit situation. It covers a very wide a range of topics. LAZ University does, and it also provides resources for mental and physical health, as well as sort of resources to other benefits as well. The material on LAZ University is updated regularly, so as the industry grows and then sort of the information that is put on LAZU. So as we adopt new technology, for example, shortly thereafter, there's usually a module on there about how to use that and sort of why LAZ adopted it. And so it's this living, breathing space. It's not just like these old things that were recorded back in the 90s and you're like, okay, none of this applies anymore. It's, like I said, living and breathing, and it's constantly being updated with new information. So speaking of LAZ University and online spaces, LAZ also emphasizes implementing new technologies that create a more seamless parking experience for parkers. These include the LAZ parking app, which is sort of like the hub for all things LAZ parking as far as reserving parking is concerned. So think really like any other parking app that you can download from your app store, the app market that you use on your smart device, where you can reserve parking ahead of time. LAZ Parking also has something like that, and they put a lot of resources into making sure that that is updated and that the technology is working for as many spaces as possible. There's also text to park at certain locations. I know that's a really big deal here at Parking MU. So people wanting to park in meters or in certain lots, they can just text a code to a number and reserve, and they'll receive a link and they can just reserve it from the comfort of their car. They don't even have to get out to put coins in anywhere. There are also different web widgets, so you can go online. So if you don't have a smartphone, or even if you just want to do it before even leaving the house, it being reserving parking before leaving the house, then you could just log onto your computer and reserve parking at a number of different locations across the country from your desk at home. So back to its commitment to people, LAZ Parking is also committed to finding and nurturing talent as one of its initiatives. So part of this involves providing resources and professional opportunities for marginalized communities. So one of the most recent ways LAZ has sought to tackle this issue is by launching the LAZ Minority Leaders Mentorship Program. The purpose of this program is to provide opportunities for emerging minority leaders within the LAZ family to network with other leaders in the company, develop business skills, and potentially even progress within the company through those relationships that they have developed throughout the program. Off to Frankie.
Cool, thanks. So I don't know about you all, but when I was applying for organizations to work for, I wanted to work for an organization that not only was a really awesome business to work for, but a business that was doing good in the community that they were involved in. And that's what LAZ Parking is all about. So we adapted, if you're not familiar with what conscious capitalism is, that's what it is. Where not only is it possible to run and maintain a profitable business like LAZ Parking, but we also simultaneously support the needs of the communities we serve. So we're more than just parking, right? So we, in 2009, LAZ Parking created what they call the LAZ Charitable Foundation. And our mission is to contribute time and financial resources to charitable organizations that make a positive difference in people's lives. So that first year that LAZ Charitable Foundation was created, we donated $250,000 to the Special Olympics organization. We're also involved beyond just the Special Olympics. On the next slide, there's a list of different organizations that we do contribute these funds to. And we do different activities throughout the year to raise that money. We do Tough Mudder races. We wear red and to support the Ronald McDonald House. We volunteer at different dog shelters, cat shelters. The opportunities to give back to our community are endless. And we do what we can to do just that, give back to the community. And we want to really give back to those organizations that matter to our team. So this is an ever-changing and evolving list of organizations to give back to based upon where our team wants to give their time and resources to. And just to kind of wrap us up, before we open it up for any questions that you all may have for us, not only do I love creating opportunities for our employees and giving back to the community, but I really value recognizing our team for all of the hard work that we're doing, and something that LAZ has really took it upon themselves and created what we call rave cards. So we rave one another. So rave stands for recognizing acts of value and excellence. And just a quick little story. I think David also has a quick little story about what a rave means to him. But I recently got an email from our marketing director. Her name is Kim. And she emailed me and said that she was on our Twitter account, and there was a tweet out there that one of our employees just provided excellent customer service in the garage that she was parking in. And just she had such a valuable experience in a parking garage, which is special, right? You don't want to go park and it be such a pain. And she got just what we are here to do, is provide that easy, seamless experience. And it went all the way to our marketing director. So I wrote this employee a quick little rave note, recognizing her for her hard work and creating that excellent experience for that customer.
Yeah, and then just today on a meeting that we had, so last week at ParkEMU, it was audit week. So anyone who is familiar just with that in any capacity, it's a lot of stuff to do. And the admin analyst who hasn't even been with our location for a full year, not only have they been super flexible in general, working hybrid to fully remote to full-time in the office. So that's an amazing feat in and of itself. The amount of sort of value, or I guess the amount of that they were able to contribute to the audit process with being such a new employee last week was very impressive to my director as well as myself. And so today we raved this person and sort of let them know, like, thank you so much. You let us helped us out in the audit, but also just, like I said, the amount that you were able to contribute to that process with you being so new, it's just showing that you're listening and that you care and that you're, really absorbing the information. And so just something like that. And I just want to emphasize, the raves, they don't have to be top down. It doesn't have to be manager to employee. They could be to people on the same level. Anyone can rave anyone. And it's just a fun way to, like Frankie said, to recognize each other whenever we can. So that is all we have. So I don't know how you want to segue into the Q&A section, but yeah.
That's great, Frankie and David, excellent presentation. I love what you said. We're more than just parking, and that your depiction of conscious capitalism and the work that you do and the investment you make in people is outstanding. So thank you very much for sharing that. I'd love it if you could tell us a bit about, if you could look back to your high school self, what's the one thing that you wish you had known back then?
Scheduling is something that this position has really forced me to really wrap my mind around being punctual, not that I wasn't punctual before, but really not just scheduling for myself, but taking other people's schedules into account, and just basic tasks like looking at someone else's calendar and trying to figure out where to fit something in, and gauging how much time a task is going to need. So like you don't need, everything does not need to be an hour and a half long. Some stuff could just be 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So that's something that I wish I would have been taught more directly. And I had a recent experience. A relative of mine recently got into college, and they wanted me to speak to them about my experience at that school, and trying to schedule something with them was like pulling teeth. And I realized I was taking it for granted, the fact that I now knew how to do that. And I was sort of projecting onto them, like, you don't know how to block out 30 minutes of your day. And I'm like, well, they're 18, they probably don't. So I wish that that's something that I was sort of taught more directly, the importance of just scheduling and just how crucial that is to success anywhere.
Just to touch on your question quickly, I think I interacted in high school with my family and friends so much. I think getting out of my comfort zone and interacting with strangers and different people in the community and really building up those interaction skills and talking to different personalities and serving different folks in the community. Because in my job now, I interact with people on such a wide variety of spaces and people from so many different backgrounds and personal situations. And I've really had to learn within my current role how to have those different interactions. And if I would have gotten out of my comfort zone when I was in high school, I think I would have been much more equipped to do so now.
Great, thank you. And what words of encouragement can you give to our youth?
I don't know, probably, just to be frank, that thing that you're doing now, whatever that thing is, it could be a variety of different things, that something that you're learning in school right now that may not feel super relevant. It may just seem to be, like I said, to be honest, maybe a bit pointless. Like why? And it's not even not what you're learning in the curriculum, but just very basic things. Like I said, time management, scheduling. It may not seem as important in the moment. It may seem like people are, teachers are probably micromanaging and trying to force you to do things on their schedule, but they're really trying to get you to understand, like I said, the importance of time management, taking other people's time into account. I don't know if that's a word of encouragement as much as it's just like general advice. It's probably like a hybrid of the two, but that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of our founders, he always, in a video that we watch here at LAZ Parking often, he talks about different opportunities and if you're willing to work hard and wanting to go forward, the opportunities are out there and you can get there. And that always lives in the back of my head when I'm feeling a little down about my position or a little frustrated. They're there and you'll get there. So I think that's encouraging news to kind of hear from one of our founders.
Great. And there's a comment in the chat that says, I enjoyed learning the history of the company through the slideshow. It showed hard work, dedication, and fun. And with that, I'm going to open it up if there are individuals who would like to go off mute at this point to ask questions directly of Frankie and David. Now would be a good time to do that. Give it another few minutes. And as Kelsey says, we will be holding the prize drawing soon. So young people, if you have not put your name in the chat, or specialists, if you haven't entered your youth name into the chat, please do so now. I wanted to ask you a question. You mentioned that there are opportunities as managers and supervisors. Can you speak to the educational requirements for those roles?
I can. So the education for those roles, there's typically in those job descriptions, just kind of they're sometimes a bachelor degree or equivalent years of experience. So I think that equivalent years of experience is pretty cool too, that, if we do have general managers that have that years of experience and that are still able to take on those leadership opportunities or have that bachelor's degree. I think what's also pretty unique about LAZ is we are willing to ensure that you have the certifications and the trainings and the educations throughout your employment to get to those positions while at LAZ.
And what would you say the two of you love the most about your work at LAZ?
You want to go first, Frank?
Sure. This one's so easy for me, and it is absolutely the people I work with and for. I have never worked for more, encouraging people who really pour into me to learn, grow on both a personal and professional level, and being able for people to pour into me and for me to pour into to my team and people within my region. And it absolutely hands down the people for me.
Yeah, well, like bounce off of that, just the culture in general, which all includes the people, specifically the leadership. I mean, in previous like jobs at completely separate companies, and I'm sure everyone has experienced this in some capacity, like you've had that manager you were probably literally afraid to ask questions to, or because you just didn't want to get attacked or anything like that. I've never felt that way here. Everyone is professional, and they're sort of about the business and getting the job done, but no one's robotic, no one's, too harsh or anything like that. They're just, everyone's personable. Everyone that I've had an encounter with, they're personable. They are willing to help. And then just like even up to HR, they're willing to help and just, make your job as smooth as possible, make your experience at LAZ as smooth as possible.
Great. If you look back again, going back to your high school self, what did you think you would be doing at this stage of your life? Did you ever imagine you'd be here? And if not, what did you think you'd be doing at this point?
Not parking, that is for sure. That's why I think I really wanted to reiterate that I never in a million years would think I'd be in a parking industry. And I think there's a stat out there. It's like 50% or 75% of the jobs that are here today are going to be here in like 20 years. So not parking. I think in high school, I probably thought I was going to be like something sports related or something in that regard, but definitely not parking. But I did know I wanted to help contribute to people's lives in some capacity. So I do think I'm doing that now.
I would have to agree, not parking specifically, but a lot of the stuff that I'm doing in this role, what my sort of dreams and goals did include those things. So a lot of writing, a lot of communication, a lot of just being allowed to be creative. In my role, I'm given a lot of like creative freedom when it comes to stuff like communications and organization and stuff like that. So I didn't have a specific, I guess, career in mind. I've always been sort of an eclectic person when it comes to like my interests and how those manifest in my work. But I'd say in principle, I'm doing a lot of the things that I said I wanted to do when I was in high school. And probably not by name, in parking, but in general, I would say I'm doing all of those things.
Great. Can you speak again about locations where you're operating? So if somebody wants to work with LAZ, where can they currently do that?
I can speak to that. I see in the comments West Michigan, so I'm not super familiar with the geography of Michigan, to be honest, but our locations specifically in Michigan are in Detroit, downtown, and then Ypsilanti, where David sits, EMU. And then beyond that, coast to coast, so in the 35 states. So if West Michigan isn't necessarily where you want to be, certainly locations outside of the state as well.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and just a quick question here. I love LAZ is more than just parking, but I'm also hearing more than just a job. You're growing your people into family-sustaining careers, which is super awesome. And David, I saw a slide where you talked about even offering mentorship. Could you talk a little bit about the specifics of that, maybe?
Yeah, I can't get into, I'm not on that committee, so I can't get into all of the details necessarily about what that program entails. But like I was saying, in general, it's a way to connect employees within LAZ, right? So they're to develop business skills, like I said, and if new opportunities arise, to sort of allow employees to network with one another, so that basically people can be sort of front of mind when opportunities pop up. If they hear about something in the company, they can sort of say like, I've been speaking with someone for the past 2-3 months, and they would fit perfectly into that. Even outside of the sort of official, more formal mentorship program, I know LAZ also emphasizes just stuff like check-ins, regular check-ins with employees, one-on-one stuff. I had a regular meeting with my general manager for a while, and now I'm speaking the first Tuesday of every month with another employee who's based out of Texas. And it's essentially that it's a mentorship program where we just talk about how have things been at your location, just in life in general, anything I can do to help, going over some very like specific things. Is there anything you want to talk about this, conversation, project management, how to communicate with leadership, how to manage this kind of situation, because that may have been sort of stressing you out. So it's there's a really big push towards one-on-one connections as opposed to one person or sort of like a panel of people talking at thousands of people. They really, every opportunity they get to sort of link like-minded people up and people who can benefit from one another. I know LAZ does that to the best of their ability.
Great. Thank you.
And I just wanted to acknowledge the two of you and your colleagues at LAZ, because you really are walking your talk. I know that you've connected already directly with many of our specialists in the Detroit area, and you're looking to create program level relationships with our youth and provide mentorship and guidance in their career pathways. So I really appreciate you living your values and being here today representing your organization and working with our youth at the program level. So thank you very much. With that, I would like to turn it over to Kelsey Lee Master. Kelsey will be sharing her screen. So David, if you could stop share, Kelsey's going to share her screen to announce our two contest winners.
All right, here is our prize wheel with our youth that entered their name into the chat. So this is for the $25 Amazon gift card. And congrats, Brennan. All right, so this one's going to be for a $25 Walmart gift card. All right, congrats, Gabby. All right, so if you are one of our winners, please message me with your contact information that we can get these cards to you. Specialists, if these are one of your youth that won, please do the same and message me with either your contact information or their contact information that I can send these out. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey. And Frankie and David, I want to give you one more chance. If there's an opportunity there where you'd like to make some closing remarks, now would be a good time to do so.
I just wanted to thank you guys for allowing us to be here to speak on behalf of LAZ Parking and to share a little bit of our story. And like I said, hopefully we can cross paths one day soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, also wanted to thank you for the opportunity. Part of my position, I write about LAZ parking a lot, and it's usually sort of shared either internally with other employees or with people on EMU's campus. So it was nice being able to share the information with a wider audience and sort of introduce LAZ in a more formal way to, like I said, the larger audience. And yeah.
Great. Well, thank you both very much. We really appreciate your time and being with us today. So with that, we will be concluding our event with LAZ Parking. Please join us next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. to meet with Kalamazoo Valley Community College and to hear from current KVCC students about why they chose Kalamazoo Valley and what they are studying at Kalamazoo Valley. With that, again, Frankie and David, thank you very much for being with us today. And to everyone, have a great rest of your day and week ahead. Thank you.